Hi guys, Kirk and Jay here with Kirk Giordano Plastering. Today, I'm going to show you how to resurface this brick here. Now, you might look at this chimney and say, wow, that chimney is bad. But me, I look at this chimney and what I see is on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being as good as it gets, I'd say this chimney is about a 9.5. What does that mean? Okay, you take the house itself. This is maybe a half a yard of cement. What's half a yard? About 1,000 pounds. How much does this chimney weigh, guys? This chimney weighs about 5 to 7 tons. That's anywhere between 10 to 14,000 pounds. It's double bricked for inside and out design for heat. It should last 200 to 300 years. Why did this little area fail? Well, my guess was that the house is about 90 years old. About maybe 30, 40 years ago, somebody walked in here and created a little hole, or they had a bush. And they watered that bush, and with a crack, it can go in and prevent, or it can happen where you get spalling. Water goes in there, freezes, and pops it off, and then it starts this chain reaction. It could happen. There's a lot of different reasons, but what we're doing, we're using a 15-minute set. So this stucco right here, it sets really quick, and plus the brick is absorbing the moisture out. What Jay and I already did is we wet this piece of wood here. We put it right here as a template or a rod, and I went ahead and applied the stucco here, and we pulled it up and we made a rod, meaning we got a clean edge here. This has been pressure washed. It's been chipped out, then pressure washed well with 3,000 psi. How clean is that? It's real clean. Plus, I put a bonding agent on here. I use Weld-Crete, but you guys always call me and say, where do you find Weld-Crete? Weld-Crete is found at the material yards, plastering material yards. They do not sell Weld-Crete at Home Depot or Lowe's. So this concrete bonding adhesive works too. So anyway, I've got 10 minutes to put this stucco on before it gets hard as a rock and I have a hard time floating. Notice we got here. If you're loose with the grout, no worries. Some areas were deep. I fished it in there really tight. So now what we're doing is we're putting this next coat on. And all we're doing, guys, is just resurfacing it. We're putting another layer of cement on it. This particular stucco Jay made about 10 minutes ago, and we have about, I'd say, another 10 minutes to use it before I get nervous and start struggling and saying, oh man, I'm going to have to use a lot of muscle to get it on or floated. What I want to do first of all is get the bulk done while I have the board full. I'll worry about my corners in a minute. First thing is get it all on there. And notice I'm pushing it hard, guys. Push it hard. Okay, we take the stucco here and I'm looking at my bulk. Get the bulk on, because if I run out of stucco that's on the board there, I want to be able to float it while Jay mixes up some more. So you got to hustle, guys, when you're working with stiff mud. Nothing we can't handle. We take it here and we feather into the existing. Right here. It's called feathering into the existing. Say like right here. I'll show this spot here. All right. Now keep in mind, guys, it's a pretty cold day, but the brick is still sucking the moisture right out of this cement. Now, how many different cements are there? Oh, about 20. Right now we're using a cement that dries extremely fast because it's got luminite in it. And this is the stuff that, when dry, it's about 4,700 psi. You might say, what the heck is that? Concrete is usually about 25, so this stuff is really, really strong. The psi strength of 4,700 you'll get in about 30 days. When you first apply it, stucco is, I'd say this is about 2,000 psi. What does that mean to you guys? boring stuff, but I thought since I know it, I'd share it with you. It means it's very strong. Okay, so what I'm doing here is getting out all of my own humps and straightening it all out. Okay. Mud's getting hard, and it's about time to start floating this, but I can give it a little bit longer before I float because I want to use the rest of this up. Maybe I might even have enough to finish this. Let's see here. Okay. And the same thing I did over there, I rotted this side over here. You can't see it. So all that rotting means is give it a clean edge. We almost had enough, just a hair off, but that's okay because what I'm going to do, guys, is finish this little piece here. And Jay's going to mix this some more, but before he does that, I'm going to float what little bit we got because this mud is already getting hard. So, okay, how much do I need? I need one hock right here. But for the sake of showing you guys what to do next, I'm going to leave that alone. And we're going to mix up that hock in a few minutes. What I have here is a float bucket. I like these green sponge floats with a handle. You buy these at Home Depot, Lowe's. Usually I get them at the material yards, buy a box at a time, about 100, because we go through them. And now what we want to do is, this corner is tricky, so we're going to take it straight up and go to the right. What happens if I take it this way? Well, I pull my own corner off. This float is full of stucco right now, which when it gets full, you just take it off and start over again. And when I say take it off, I mean put it in the water, tap it out, flip it, tap it. What I'm doing, guys, if you don't see, is I'll take my hands and just flip this. Flip it like this, flip it, and tap that water off. Now, I'm going to go ahead and get my joint again. That way, and I'm going to come this way and clean it. Now, this is the hard part for folks who just are learning, but for me, I can close my eyes and do this. I've done so much. The idea is I'm putting water on this. I'm bringing the aggregate out. What is aggregate? Fancy word for sand. Portland cement, or Portland is the cement we're using. You add sand to Portland and it gives you stucco. You add rocks to Portland cement, or to Portland cement, you get concrete. So anyway, you see where we're going with this. I'm going to go ahead and show you this joint too, because now the joint is tricky, the transition. That's the hardest part for any of you do-it-yourselfers. And the more water I use, the more aggregate I'm going to bring to the surface. And yes, I'm holding this float flat too. I'm not lifting the heel or the toe off. It's completely flat, like any of you guys who do snowboarding. This is flat right here. I don't have it on edge, in other words. So now where I go to my joints right here, I'll show you how the joints work. Now what I'm doing is I want to match that finish there, and I want it to match where when I'm done, the fella who's going to paint this will apply one coat of primer, top coat of paint, and match it. So I determine how much water to use, how much aggregate I want to expose. Down here, I'm going to feather this into the existing. Now that takes a clean bucket of water, clean float, and this float should be flat. You put it flat, and that transition, I'm pulling this here, but I'm lifting at the bottom. You can't really see that motion, but that's how it works, guys. I'll show you a little bit more Then Jay's got to mix me up a little bit of cement. I'll show you the transition up here, guys. Okay, easier rather than all that bending down. All right. Climb on this guy here. All right, transition here. New to old. First I want to wet it and bring it back to life. You could wet this stucco and bring it back to life once. You keep bringing it back to life and you destroy the integrity of it. All right, you see, that's how we bring it back to life. Now I flipped that float just now because where water's dripping, I want to keep that water. That water is helping me bring the aggregate out. See that? And this is the finish that originally was dashed. So because it was dashed, I'm bringing a heavier float. All right, guys. Jay is indicating that the battery is going. We're going to finish this little piece off and show you the completion when we're done. Okay, guys. You see the finished product. Now, this finish, when it's primed and painted once, should match this guy right here. I look at it and I take some of the sand off. I put more here and there, and it's just got to match. Because my buddy Rick here, now Rick's been painting forever. Rick knows all these little details, like, say, do you paint this the next day? No. Why? Because it's got a high alkalinity right now. It's like 14, so you got to wait at least a week, guys. On a whole house, I tell everybody 28 days to dry out or cure before you paint. Otherwise, you have your paint or primer blistering, ghosting, or bleeding. You don't want that, guys. So give it as much time as you can. Prime it with a good quality primer and paint, and you're ready to go. My name is Kirk. Jason on the camera, my buddy Rick here, great painter. We thank you for watching. We'll see you guys on the next one. Once again, folks, we thank you for watching, and I really enjoy all your comments.
If you guys like this video, please click the like button down below. And also, if you enjoy what we do, subscribe to our channel so we can keep making these videos for you.
My name is Kirk.
And Jay.
We thank you for watching, and from the entire Giordano family, we'll see you on the next one.